There it is. There it is. What's going on? It is the OCPD coach, Shannon Williams. And guys, it is Father's Day weekend. And as you can see, I'm not in my normal attire. I normally come in here with my professional look, my polo, my brand, or a nice sweater or something. But today, I'm wearing what money cannot buy emotionally for me and sentimentally for me. And that's this shirt that my wife and son decided to get for me for Father's Day. And this shirt says, Dad. I forgot what it said, so read it. It says, Dad, the toughest job you'll ever love. Toughest job you'll ever love. I thought that this shirt was just so on the point, first of all, with the statement, because it is a tough job, but you wouldn't trade it for the world. And also, it was my favorite color to wear. Blue is my favorite color, but olive green is my favorite color to wear. So my son and my wife, they knew my style, they knew exactly what to do. It just made me be comfortable, happy, appreciative all at the same time. And guys, it's the work stream. It is officially our work stream. We have had a very productive week, just in general. Dom, what's going on? Welcome in. See you another glass shatter fest. But yeah, guys, we've had a really, really productive week all around. You guys might remember I said this week was going to be goblin mode. I was supposed to get a whole lot of work done for my video game, retro game simulator. And I had times this week where I really struggled. Just being 100% transparent with you. Let me make sure my music isn't too loud for you guys, too. No, thank you. Thank you for coming in. Dom is one of my favorite people. Honestly, he's one of my favorite people. Love authentic people. He's an authentic guy. So appreciate you popping in. But I did struggle this week with the fact that I'm so close to getting my game done. I do have ADHD and OCPD. I know how those two things love to interact together and make it hard for me to release projects or get over that finish line. And I had to give myself a pat on the back. Big pat on the back, because even through these moments of difficulty or uncertainty for myself, I knew what to do to stay focused and not get sidetracked. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much, man. I had so many different ideas that came to mind for myself this week as far as games I could do, projects I could do. And the old me would have decided that those were better worth my time because my motivation was there and I was really just interested. But this week, I really demonstrated to myself that I have enough structure and control. Now that's a trigger word. But I had enough structure and control to not only stay focused on whatever the task was, but even when I didn't want to work on it, I still made myself get work done on it. So give yourself a pat on the back anytime you can. Any of those little wins, you have to take them, because we are extremely critical of ourselves, and you have to make sure you also give yourself the credit that you deserve. That being said, we got a lot of stuff done this week. We got a whole lot of stuff done this week. And I honestly am excited for tomorrow, because tomorrow, not only will I be live streaming at, I want to actually sync this up so it sounds better for you guys, but tomorrow I will be live streaming at 1:15 p.m. Eastern time, and we're going to plan out what this next week of work is going to look like. I love to plan my work and everything I need to do in my life inside of a week or 2 week increment of time, which we call a sprint. So I'm going to be planning out my next sprint of work, which is all about planning for marketing of my game and testing for my game. So we are, guys, if the finish line was this far away when I started, I'm about this close to running across it. We are this close. So I am extremely excited, but I also have a lot of pressure on me, a lot of pressure. I want to deliver. I want to make the best product I can, the best video game I can. And I think that these streams, you guys have gotten to see me playing for the past month at least, every step of the way. But now you get to see that other side where I have to finish something, We can plan it, we can work on it, but now we have to finish. We have to finish the execution. We have to get the rest of the 10 yards or else we don't get the touchdown. So that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. And in addition to that, I'm going to be doing a live stream guest appearance where I'm going to be talking about OCPD on one of my buddy's girlfriend's channels. And I'm sad that I don't have the name of the channel here because I would have referenced it. But what I will do is post it tomorrow when I go live, because that's going to be a really good and hopefully insightful conversation for everybody involved and everybody who wants to be part of it. Today, let me tell you guys something. Oh man, today is going to be a little bit different. We are going to absolutely do a body doubling work stream. Absolutely, that's happening. But I wanted to start giving more information in these streams instead of it just being work, instead of it just being planning. And I have to do it in a structured way where I don't spend way too much time doing it. So I'm going to try to time box myself to about 15 or 20 minutes and explain to you what it is like having ADHD as well as OCPD. And I think if you guys are fans of a lot of popular TV shows, I'm hoping you guys really get a kick out of this, but I also hope that you guys can see the parallels of everything I'm showing and see where you can make adjustments in your life if it is a struggle for you. So let's actually do this. Let's switch up our lights a little bit. Presets, let's do bright. Woo. Nice. Let me go and do this real quick. We're gonna switch up to the active screen. There it is. And let me set a timer. Turn my music up in my ears just so I can hear a little bit. Okay, here we go. And I just realized something. I completely forgot that I forgot how I have this thing centered off. So let me do this instead. It won't be a full screen, unfortunately, but it's fine. It's not the end of the world. What we'll do is I'll pull this over and try to run it in file preview mode. I think it's a preview mode in here, slideshow, from slide, custom slideshow. Let's try to do from beginning and do display settings, zero options. I might have to just do it like this, and that's fine. That's fine. What I'll do is I'll pop my face in and out as it makes sense, but I won't have my face up the entire time. So if you guys don't see me, you just hear me, that's all it is. So let's do this. We're gonna set a 20-minute timer. I give myself 5-minute buffer time just because I know how I like to do things. And that is it. That is my limit. I refuse. I absolutely will not go over that time. The other thing we're going to do is switch from active to full cam. Not full cam, no cam. That's better. And anytime you guys want to see me, I'll just switch to full cam. Let's get this thing going. I'm really excited about this topic. I am. I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully it's insightful for you guys. So let's talk about it. ADHD is something that I didn't know I had until about 2 years ago. And at the same time that I found out I had ADHD, I found out I had something called OCPD. And OCPD is obsessive compulsive personality disorder. It is not as commonly known about as ADHD. However, I do think a lot of people who have ADHD might also suffer from OCPD. And this is not just me talking out of my butt here. This is me based off of interactions I've had with individuals who tend to have one, they tend to have both. A lot of them, I'm saying. Most times if you have OCPD, there's something else going on with it. My wife has asked if I can turn the music down a little bit, and I will. Thank you, wife. Let me do it. Is that better? Is the music better? I know it's a delay. All right, but having both of these is something that people really don't have a lot of information about out online. There aren't a lot of videos about what it's like to have both. They tend to just talk about one or the other. And that's why on this channel, let me switch back to my face. That's why on this channel, I am the OCPD coach, but I talk a lot about the ADHD because I don't have one without the other. They both interact with each other. They can interact for the good, they can interact for the bad, but they do interact with each other. So we're going to talk about both of these, and we are going to just hop into it because I've been talking long enough. So let's do it. Let's go. No cam, and let's start clicking right through it. So the thing about this is that I'm going to call my head, my brain, I'm going to call it my office because I think that you'll get this analogy, you'll understand it a lot easier if I give you characters where you can see the traits up to the extreme level, and then you can relate it back to your brain. So this is going to be called my office. First thing we're going to do is talk a little bit about that ADHD side, just some of the traits that I suffer from or deal with myself, or the common traits that I also see in other folks. We're going to talk about the OCPD side because that is another part of me that I love to talk about. The fight, and this is where I think it'll be valuable for folks who have both and don't know that they have both, because this is where you might see the clash. This is where you might see that, oh, I know I have ADHD, but there's something else in the way that's stopping me with completing things or impacting my confidence or making me extremely hard on myself. That's where we're going to be talking about. That is that fight section. Next, we have ADHD blind spots. So let's strip away OCPD and just talk about what it would be like if I just had my ADHD. Because believe it or not, some of these disorders do have benefits to them. And we're going to explain what those OCPD benefits are that are missing. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll flip it and we'll do the same thing for OCPD. So we'll have OCPD and look at the blind spots that are there when you don't have ADHD. So we'll talk about both of them, and I think it'll be really helpful. All right, let's just hop right into this. I love metaphors. I love similes. I love all of this stuff because I'm visual. I'm a visual person. Anybody who knows me knows that I like to paint a picture. I think it helps people grasp everything much clearer. So I went ahead and made a freaking PowerPoint. Let's go. Because it's been so long since I made a PowerPoint for this stream, and I'm excited. But let's talk about my ADHD. And I'm going to call, for the sake of this conversation, this office inside of my head, we are going to call my ADHD side of myself Michael Scott. That guy. And I love The Office. It was something I didn't even know existed until about 2016, but it was my comfort show. And every time you watch shows, you think you're going to resonate with the main character. But I wound up realizing that I didn't really connect with Jim as much as I did with Michael and the person who I'm going to talk about with my OCPD side. But let's talk a little bit about Michael and why I think that his traits that are shown in the show, I see a lot of them in my ADHD personally, and my ADHD side that we're calling Michael Scott. And we'll step through all of them. First thing, impulsive money habits. This is something I've gotten a lot better with. I have, but I used to be really bad with this, especially in high school when I would work jobs. I had a job every single Saturday. I would make about 20 or 50 bucks installing glass and doors around Detroit. And I was really tight on my money because I had to be. When I went to college, I just blew through all of my money. It was insane. All of my money went to clothes. And when I blew all the money on clothes, I didn't have money for food. So I started working, and all of that money was going to a bunch of different projects where I just threw my hands in a bunch of different things. And my biggest issue was that I would always get so excited about something, I would throw money at it, and then I would not finish whatever the task was. So I had money tied up in a bunch of different places and got no results from it. So I was really impulsive with my money. Let's move on. So I use Michael Scott, the character, to just bring up some of these traits. But Michael has this memory system that he uses to help with associating somebody's name with something characteristic about that person. And I don't do that specifically, but what I do have with my memory is I have more of a photographic memory. I can see a face or I can see something one time and I can remember it for as long as it takes. So I have a lot of weird photographic memories from when I was a little child where I can literally draw a room that I used to be in at 5 or 6 years old, and it's baked in my head. So I think that interaction with memory and doing whatever you can to remember things, I definitely see that correlation there. Next, So with Michael, he was constantly talking and often derailed conversations and meetings. And I definitely talk a lot. I think you guys know this. If you're on this stream ever, you see me just talking and ranting. I'm that type of person where I'm typically quieter to myself. But if we open up on something I'm interested in, or if it's an opportunity for me to teach something, my mouth does not shut. So that's me. Holds frequent, often unnecessary meetings. This is something Michael did. I don't know if it was just so he could have the opportunity to talk or just that interaction, but I definitely could see myself always having to have meetings when I was first getting started with gaming. I always wanted to understand where everybody was and what was going on and just wanted to be part of the mix. So that was something I definitely dealt with. Some days he closes big deals, other days he does nothing at all. This hit or miss mentality. And I know I put some days, but in reality, this is moment by moment. Michael, there was an episode where they were at Chili's and he was just being goofy and silly the whole time. It was just over the top, but then he wound up closing the deal at the end of the day. And I remember Jan was shocked because she didn't understand how Michael could lock in like that and get the deal. And I think I have the same thing. I always say I know and I find out enough to get the job done. That's the same type of thing that this is for me. I have those moments where I'm extremely motivated. I'm very productive, and then I have days where I don't do anything for a long time, but I can lock in for 2 hours and get more work done in that time than a normal person might in a lot longer. Frequently loses track of time or is easily tricked into leaving early. So this was something I put was the time blindness element. My ADHD, I've always had time blindness, and this was what gave it away to my therapist because I was talking to her and explaining how I thought I could get something done by a certain time. But I've had this so many times where I thought I could do major projects or big initiatives in a small amount of time. So it was something that I definitely deal with even to this day, and I have to have other folks or use something like Jira to hold me accountable. Let's move on. Quick to adopt new interests. Example I put in here is the magic kit or fall in love suddenly. That was something that Michael did a lot. So Michael would fall in love with somebody. He what Holly, it was basically two conversations in and he was ready to get married to her. So this is something that I think people with ADHD are easily when you get that dopamine, it's almost addictive, but it's so dangerous because you wind up in bad situations or as I said here, quick to adopt new interests just all over the place. And I think for now, let me actually show my face. I think it's better if I show my face and I'm reading it anyways. Why do people with ADHD have a hard time doing tasks? That's a good question. And I answer it at the end of this so I can make sure I get out in this time block, but that's a great question. Next thing, struggles with reading the room or knowing when jokes are inappropriate. I had this. I actually made some jokes that they weren't sexually inappropriate or anything like that, but they were jokes that I thought were just goofy jokes. But then when I thought back, I would get home and I would say, why did I make that joke? That joke didn't even make sense. It was childish or whatever it might be. And so I definitely I've accredited that to my ADHD side because I didn't have that buffer between me thinking it and saying it. It just came right out. Misses small but important things, misspellings, forgotten emails. This is something that the ADHD side of me definitely can do. I can get overwhelmed with a lot of text and miss small details or small little things, but my OCPD side of me actually balances this out. So it'll be interesting to show you how these work together. Cameras is blurring out. That's what she said. Jokes. This is just an impulsive thing. I know with ADHD, one of the traits is having a hard time not interrupting or not just saying stuff as you think about it. And that is something that he clearly does. Even when people are saying, no, don't do it. He just has to do it. Mood swings quickly. Mood swings quickly based on praise or criticism. Now, I don't just say based on praise or criticism. I think the mood can swing very quickly off of any type of circumstance. But it's the severity of the mood swing that I think is so interesting. And I know I've seen it where Michael has had a bad interaction or a bad day, and then 2 minutes later, they're all jolly and having a great time. So that is something that I've dealt with as well when I'm literally focused and I'm trying to do what I'm trying to get done. If I'm interrupted in that moment, I have anger. But then 5 seconds after that, when I finish what I'm doing, I'm good. I'm happy. Everything's back to normal. So this is something that I definitely see on the ADHD side of myself. Another thing, despite the chaos, he often gets deals done or gets deals closed. Yeah, we might see him all over the place, but my ADHD side, I trust it so much. I literally lean on that because I say if I'm in a crunch or I need something to get done, even if it's a lot of stuff going on, I have been able to use that hyper focus to get things accomplished that if I didn't have it, I don't think I would have been able to. Short term thinker. This is another thing. Just thinking for the moment, not thinking long term. So you tend to make poor decisions that impact you in the long run. And that's just the ADHD side of me, right? Let's move on to the OCPD side of me, which I call Dwight Schrute. That's what I'm naming it. And Dwight. I wound up figuring out that Dwight was the other character that I connected with, and I think I even connected with him more than Michael. And it was weird. It was a discovery I did not think I would make, and I don't know how to cope with that because Dwight is such an extreme character. But let's go into his black and white thinking. The example I gave for black and white thinking was Angela's cat. He K'd Angela's cat because he thought he was helping the cat. And the cat could not produce any type of milk or any food or any meat. So it was serving no purpose. That's what it was. It was just that black or white thinking. But he wasn't taking into account that gray area of how Angela felt about that cat and her connection or what it might actually look like to just slaughter a cat in modern day society. And that is something I'm not saying I'm a cat slaughterer, but with the black or white thinking, I definitely can understand that part. That's how I made that correlation. Then we have disciplined and dedicated. Very. I know Dwight was the person who got what was it? 13 months in a row. He was employee of the month, or 13 out of 12. He was employee of the month 13 months out of 12 months because he got it twice instead of giving a raise one day. And he never misses a day. It was only one day where he wound up missing because they played a prank on him. But Dwight doesn't miss days of work. He's always at work, and even through holidays, I think he works. I think he's that guy. And that used to be me. I never took days off. You guys know I worked on my wedding day. I worked on all my birthdays. I never saw the need to take a day off. It didn't make sense to me to take a day off. So definitely can relate there with my OCPD. Achievement oriented. Dwight wants to get that status. He wants to become the manager. He wanted to become assistant regional manager, then he wanted to be manager. But he is very achievement oriented. He wants to be the best. He wants to beat Computron, the computer system. He wants to beat everything. He wants to be the best. Achievement oriented, yes. The best beats all of that. Hard work equals worth. This is where it gets dangerous because we start to tie our work ethic to what we are worth. And I think that's really dangerous because you're not always going to have days where you're just going at it 120%. That's not healthy. So when you tie it, it is really dangerous, but that's what we tend to do. Financial and practical organization. Yes, Dwight was well off financially. He was very organized. We know this much. Rule focused mindset. He had the song, uh, follow your rules. You got to follow your rules. If you don't, you'll be eating in your sleep. It was something like that he grew up on. So I think this was something that was really put into him as a child, that rule focused mindset. And that is one of the big traits of OCPD is being extremely dedicated to following rules and holding others accountable to following the rules as well. Misaligned expectations. This is something where I think this is the type of disorder OCPD is, where we are the ones who are thinking a certain way and we think that everybody else thinks like us or should be thinking like us. That is where I see it with Dwight. I remember when he became the manager and he had the Shroot books and he thought that that would get people motivated, or he just didn't understand what motivated folks. He was extremely confused. He was really lost. And it was the same thing that happened with Angela's cat. He was surprised by Angela's reaction. And yeah, so that was the misaligned expectations, moral absolutism. You all know about this with OCPD. Idealistic beliefs. He wants that perfect Christian woman. That's who he wants, but he wants everybody to be perfect. Everybody needs to be perfect on time. And if you're not, you're a slacker. Limited empathy, but growth. For this, I was talking about he is often to me misunderstood, especially in the beginning, as somebody who does not care about them. He doesn't care. He might even put on that front, but you see him over time actually show connection to Pam. He feels for Pam. He wants to protect Pam. He protects Jim. He cares for Jim. So I think that the empathy that he has and the care that he has for individuals, it gets so easily thrown under the rug when you think about the strictness of it or the rigidness and the a-holery of OCPD. And I'm just saying OCPD because that's what I'm talking about my side. Again, my OCPD side desires recognition and respect. Yeah. When I talked to you guys on what was it, Thursday, I talked about the glass shatter. That perception. We want to be perceived in a certain way. And that is something that I think is really clear with Dwight. He does want to be perceived as the person who is serious. He wants that raise. He deserves that raise. He wants that sale. He wants that client. He wants it all. He wants to be the best, and he wants to be recognized for what he does. He does not want to be underappreciated or undervalued. And then I put on here hyper aware of detail. I remember the episode where he was talking about he was comparing Kathy and Pam, and he went into detail about Pam's body and different things that her hairstyle, different things that made her look different over time. He was really keeping an eye out on it. And that is something with OCPD. We focus really, really hard, way too hard on details, even the smallest details. Other thing I have on here is long-term planner. Dwight is obviously a long-term planner. He wants kids, he wants family, he wants business, he wants promotions. He has land, he has the bed and breakfast business. He's somebody who is thinking about the future. And that is the type of mindset that somebody with OCPD has. I know I'm coming in on 2 minutes here, but I think that was my time blindness. That's not the one I wanted. I think that was my time blindness because I don't know how I thought I was going to wrap all of this up in 20 minutes. So what I'll do is I'll give myself this. I'll give myself the rest of this 1 minute time to take a 1 minute break, but also tell you guys about the upcoming stream. So as I mentioned, tomorrow, which is Sunday, we are going to be having the 1:15 p.m. Eastern time stream where we plan our week out. We're going to see how much work we have to do over this next sprint. We are going to be live again on Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And in that stream, we're going to be talking about what work got done, where we are with the week, what got bumped out, what came in, all of that good stuff. I might even do another topic. And on Saturday, next Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, we do this stream every single Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. I like to work. This is not the work part. This is the lesson. And after the lesson, I'm going to do a whole lot of work. So bear with me. I just wanted to get this out because I see folks are asking me more and more about OCPD and ADHD content. So that is why I want to make sure I'm giving this. And Tamboree, awesome breakdown. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Mwah, I appreciate you. And we're going to keep going. Let's restart this timer for another 15 minutes. And now we get to the part that I think is going to open a few people's eyes, right? This is the fight. Oh man, that drink is so good, and the water, the ice melted, but it's still good. But Shannon, what is the fight? I'm glad you asked. The fight is what I like to call that tug of war between the ADHD side, Michael Scott, and the OCPD side, Dwight Schrute. What happens when you have both of them? Because some of those tendencies actually work against each other. A lot of folks with ADHD have a hard time making it to meetings on time, whereas people with OCPD are obsessed with making it to meetings on time. And you can always argue about which one came first, but I think in my personal experience, I think I was born with the ADHD and I think I was born with the OCD with keeping everything neat. But I think I had experiences that led me to develop the OCPD because of lack or issues or loss with the OCD and the ADHD. So let's talk about what that tug of war is like. As a kid, you think about having ADHD as a kid, and I think about myself. You're free. You have all of the creativity. You might be an artist. I was always an artist. I love drawing, listening to all different types of music, and it was acceptable. It was absolutely acceptable for you to jump from wanting to be a baseball player to a basketball player to a rocket scientist. You could really do what you wanted as a kid freely with your ADHD side or Michael. But then as you get older, you start to, let's say, make mistakes, right? You might have some failures, maybe financial issues, maybe you're failing classes or you're missing meetings or you're just spending a lot of money on things like I mentioned my impulse control with finances. You're just getting in bad situations. And that is where I think the OCPD side, or as we call it here, the Dwight, feels the need to step in and take over. So that is, I'm giving you again. I'm not a therapist or a psychologist or anything like that. I only talk from my experience. And then every single client that I've worked with, I take their information as well and transform it into data. So I can give you all a picture of what I think is going on. So that is what happens there. And then it just gets worse over time because Dwight documents Michael's consistent failures and uses it as data against Michael. So that means every time you're late, you're going to get a demerit. It's going to be a write-up saying, Michael, you were late again. Michael, you're never on time. You're going to start hearing all of that feedback, the money. Michael, you don't know how to budget money. You shouldn't trust yourself. You need to go hire somebody else. Oh yeah, but last time you hired somebody, you hired a poor person because you have bad people judgment. You get attached to people really, really quickly. You just start having the whites come down hard on Michael. After this, you start to think about other things such as how do you control Michael? This is where the control part of Dwight comes in because with Michael's bad money habits, Dwight doesn't want to be like that. So he becomes frugal. How about we just don't spend any money? I'll drive this old beat up car. It works. It does what it needs to do. And last time that I tried to spend money, I blew all of my money on a brand new Porsche and wound up having to go, if you all remember,
I declare bankruptcy!
So that being said, you start to become really, really tight with that money. And then you have this part where Dwight starts to convince Michael that he is wasting time. And this is where I think it gets really, really, it ties really, really well with the conversations I love to have about progress. Because we start to see Michael stop wanting to spend time with people, stop wanting to have fun. He doesn't have his hobbies that he used to have. He doesn't want to see things through because he has a bad track record that Dwight keeps reminding him of. Dwight keeps saying, hey, remember the last time you went and got a magic kit? You spent 4 months on it, and then you decided that you wanted to make a music video. So then you started doing that and completely left the magic kit, so now it has dust. So you wasted money and you waste time. You're not good at time management. Let me manage the time. And if you let the OCPD side only manage the time, then you're not going to have a lot of time for anything but work and what we consider to be progress. You like that, Tambourine? Next, I put in here pivot guilt, and I'm going to do a whole video on pivot guilt. But this is that guilt that you have, especially if you have ADHD and OCPD, where you frequently jump from one project to the next, but Dwight is always keeping track every time you jump from a project and just using it as a tally against you. That is where you start to have that guilt. You start to develop that imposter syndrome. You start having self-confidence issues. You start having identity issues. So Dwight and Michael, that pivot guilt is a nasty mix that I really, really want to go deeper in on another day. Dwight's indecision, though. Now, this is the other side of it, because you see in this thing, Dwight is getting beat up by Michael, right? And I thought at first, I was like, how does this analogy make sense still? Because it didn't feel weird. It felt natural. The ADHD side, the OCPD side always just feels like that bully. And the ADHD side seems as if it's supposed to be just that kid. You think of the kid and the adult. But then I really thought about it and I said, I think my ADHD side has honestly had more control in my life than my OCPD side. Hold on. Let me say that. Let me say it again. I think my ADHD side has honestly had more control in my life than my OCPD side of my life. And I'm gonna I love getting deep, and this is me. This is the OCPD getting too into the details, and then the ADHD. I love to talk. So this is just a bad combination, but you guys get to see me live, unfiltered, unedited. This is real. Dwight as much as he tries to be the confident side of Michael, he tries to be the one that knows everything and knows how to optimize everything, actually suffers from indecision because he and Michael are one. So it's not, he can't really separate from Michael and make that decision on his own where he's like, this is the one. It's over. I'm doing this. It's typically where the Dwight side has to do all of the analysis, collect the data, analysis paralysis. We have the time. The time needs to be right. We need all of the resources, all or nothing. And the Michael side is like, no, let's just do it. and Michael just jumps right in. So that tends to happen a lot, which is why we jump from one project to the other project so often, or one interest to the other interest so often. And I think that perfectly summarize it perfectly is represented by this picture. Dwight, you would think, would be the one that would take control over Michael, but Michael's impulsiveness, your ADHD's impulsiveness, is what has been giving you the hardest time in your life. Man, this is feeling deep to me. Next, Dwight does not trust Michael's decision making. This is what I just mentioned. Dwight has indecision himself because he's tied to Michael, but he also does not trust Michael's ADHD decision making because of the track record. Because that OCPD side might be really, really data driven. It might be using that list that it has against Michael to say, Michael, you have made 10 poor decisions in the past 2 years, and you have not really shown that you can get any juice out of any fruit that you squeeze. So I have no trust in anything that you decide to do. That means every single time Michael is on something, on a new idea, on a new path, on a new project, he has to deal with that lack of confidence that Dwight is given. Whether that's words of just words that make him think that he's not going to be able to finish, whether that's Dwight giving him the data back, saying, look, this happened last time, that happened last time. Rather that's Dwight introducing a competitor, saying this competitor is going to beat you because they have a better product. You are wasting your time. Look at this, wasting your time. It really just comes down to that tug of war with the decision making. So this is interesting. It's like I'm therapying myself right now, just talking. But Michael, the next part, Michael knows that his symptoms are harmful, but struggles to change. And this is the difference between the OCPD and the ADHD. The OCPD side, we don't know that what we're doing is unhealthy. We don't typically know unless somebody points it out to us. But the ADHD, we are seeing habits. We are seeing that we are doing things, but we don't know how to address it, especially if it's ADHD that's undiagnosed. So we keep repeating the same habits, and we have that voice in our head that's saying, man, what makes this time different? That voice, by the way, is Dwight, but it's that voice in the head saying, what's making this anything different than last time? Next, Michael believes, spelling there, y'all. If you have OCPD and you call it out, good job, great work. But Michael believes that he's restricted due to Dwight's structure. And this is what I dealt with as soon as I found out I had OCPD. I tried to cut off everything fun and just be serious. I tried to say, no, just be serious. Just do business. Just do life coaching. Don't make another video game because you're not finishing them. Don't do any art because you're not doing anything with it. Don't play any games, whatever it might be. I said, I'm just going to do the business. I'm going to follow Dwight's plan. And I thought I had it figured out. But after a while, I started to become restricted. As I mentioned here, I was restricted. I was less happy because I didn't have an outlet to let that Michael side out. It was always just Dwight in charge. And that is what happens with a lot of folks, I think, who have ADHD, and you have that part of you being suppressed for whatever reason. You just don't feel free. So I encourage you find a way to let it out. And there are different ways that you can still have that ADHD side come out. I embrace it now. Now that I know I have ADHD, I embrace it. I do everything I can to have fun. I enjoy myself, but I still also make sure I have a balance. Next on here, Dwight believes that Michael doesn't deserve his position. When I talk about the tug of war of who's going to control my brain, my office, Dwight is always looking at Michael, saying to himself, I don't understand how Michael gets to be the one that makes most of your decisions. He's unorganized, never on time, always makes crazy or irrational decisions, is impulsive, will get you in bad situations. Yet I'm the one here that's always on time, never misses a day, extremely organized, know every single detail about everything, and you choose to let Michael run your office. Where is the sense in that? That is what I honestly believe that my OCPD side has been thinking the whole time, which is why I said when I found out, I tried to give the OCPD side control, but it did not work. Let's go into why it doesn't work if you just try to give one side control and completely mute the other side. I think this is going to be really good. What is life if you are just giving in to the ADHD side without Dwight, without that OCPD? So, what is Michael without Dwight? You have Andes punching walls inside of your office because there is no structure. Let's talk about it. Michael has a difficult time maintaining structure if Dwight is not there. Dwight was keeping everything structured because everybody saw how Dwight held them to a certain standard. And this is the same thing, excuse me, this is the same thing inside of your head. If you have all of these different things that you're thinking about doing and you just say, skip it, I'm not doing anything OCPD, I'm not doing any structure, I'm not doing anything that makes me get to meetings on time, I'm just going loosey goosey. I'm going loosey goosey. If you're going loosey goosey, then there is a high chance that you're going to have an Andy in your office that is going to punch a hole right in that wall. Next, Michael notices that Dwight is the one that keeps the candy out. I say keeps the candy out here because with the ADHD, with the how wild our thoughts can be, or just all over the place and unorganized we can be, we have that Dwight in the background doing certain things that helps us. And what I'll say is when I talk about getting to meetings on time as a small thing, my ADHD side of me, I guess I must have been late or something, but whatever it is, I didn't want to be late so bad. And this is before I knew I was diagnosed, but I didn't want to be late so bad that I get to airports 4 to 5 hours early. 4 to 5 hours early. I don't if I have an airplane to catch, I do not want to do anything before it. And I didn't know that that was the OCPD. I thought that was just my behavior. That is the same thing that happens here. If I were to just completely neglect the OCPD and say, look, I'm going to just completely relax. And whenever I get there, I get there. If I did that intentionally, I would not, I would realize how many little things my OCPD was actually helping me with. And last thing on here is that fear that we are going to destroy everything in our lives without Dwight. And this is what I think a lot of people who have ADHD without the OCPD feel naturally is everything is just chaos. Everything is difficult. Nothing is able to get done. And your life is going to be ruined or is already ruined because you don't have anything to help you with that structure. So that is something that I want to leave it on that note, take another quick little break. And in this quick little break, I want to answer Tambourine's question that she asked earlier. Tambourine asked me, why do people with ADHD have a hard time doing tasks? So this is something I would actually talk to a therapist about, somebody who has the credentials or the book, that knowledge, because they can probably explain the way the dopamine would work or whatever other chemicals in your brain would influence you to do a task. But I would tell you that it's not as black and white as the question makes it seem. It's not that we have a hard time doing tasks. To me, for me personally, it's that I have a hard time doing a task that I'm not motivated to do. That's what it is for me. If I'm motivated, even this video, I was so motivated to do this video that I almost did it before the stream, but I made myself wait. Now, there are other tasks that I could have done, but I had no desire to do them. So I think is that, and then another thing is when I learned about my ADHD, they were saying if a task gets boring, lengthy, or repetitive, too repetitive, then that kills all of the interest in doing it. And we aren't just driven by money. I've noticed I can't just be driven by money alone with my ADHD side. I actually have to have some fulfillment. Otherwise, it seems like torture, doing something, just mental torture. So repetitive tasks are boring. Look at that. Dom, you still in here? I thought Dom was gone. Let's go. Appreciate you guys being in here. So let me, before we move to this next part, I want to remind everybody that I do have a video game. I'm a game designer, y'all. I make games on the side. I have a video game coming out called Retro Game Store Simulator, and I have been working on this game for the past year using all of the strategies that I'm teaching you all about today and in all of my streams. But this is the game I'll be working on tonight. So make sure you go and wishlist it on Steam right now. And yeah, as Dom said, you got to be creative. Now, this is the funny thing. I'm not going to get into Dom's personal life and share any of his information. But I've known Dom for the past 6 years now, basically. It's crazy to think, but 6 years or 5 years, 5 years. And with Dom, he has probably seen a lot of my ADHD. He saw a lot of my ADHD before I knew I had it because I jumped from a lot of different projects and I'm still going back to some. But he saw how I could go just impulsively jump into something full blown into it. It wouldn't be where I would take all of this time to plan. I would message him and say, man, I got an idea. And then 2 weeks later, or even a week later, I would send him a proof of concept of the idea because I couldn't explain it in words. I always had a hard time explaining my ideas to folks. So he's seen it firsthand what it's like to have the ADHD and how we just really jump into stuff. And I appreciate that because you have to have people who are patient and understanding to deal with folks like that and take them serious. Let's move on to this next section real quick. All right, so now let's get on the other side of the coin. What is it like if we have Dwight without Michael? So just the OCPD, no ADHD, and this is something that I'm trying to make sure I'm being sensitive to people who only have one disorder because there are individuals who only have one, and I understand that. I just wanted to give my examples of what I believe my personal experience has been. And Dom said, I find that impressive. Yes, you mentioned that before, and I appreciate that because that's why I love my disorders because I have been using them for so long, and even though I might have struggles sometimes, I I abuse my I abuse it to try to get as much as I possibly can. That's how I got my master's degree in 2 months. I was up. My wife knows I was studying like a maniac getting that master's degree because I said, okay, this is a blocker. I need to get it done. And I used that time crunch to hyper focus for days and get that thing absolutely done. Not a disorder. Thank you. Thank you. Not a disorder. So let's keep going. Dwight without Michael. So this is what it's like if you just had Dwight without Michael. Superpower. I love that word. That's the word I love. I love superpower. Dwight is not going to suffer professionally, typically, right? It's not going to be unless he's in a bad job unless Dwight is in a bad job. But Dwight is able to get into different situations and maneuver around successfully. So he's able to go from Dunder Mifflin paper over to Staples and get promoted within a week. That's just how it was because he was very serious. The flip side of it though is this. He is not fun. It's a stick up somewhere. He's just there doing what he has to do, doing his work, and trying to get out of there. But what else, Shannon? This is the other thing. He starts to realize that he is out of touch with the needs and desires of others. And this is where I think you start to get that isolation because you don't really know other folks who think like you. You hold yourself to such a high standard. You hold other folks to such a high standard. And you make it very difficult for you to have any genuine relationship with people because nobody is good enough. Or on the flip side, you're not good enough for other people. And that's something that I think a lot of us suffer from and deal with, where every relationship tends to feel transactional. You start to just have a bunch of transactional interactions with folks where it just seems like it has to be business related or money related, but you don't have that fun part of you that can just talk to somebody about something random. I have another buddy I used to work with Dom, and we talk about games. I don't even play video games, but he tells me about the video games he plays. And when he tells me about the video games he plays, my OCPD side is always thinking about work, work, work. I'm always thinking, okay, I wish I had time to play games, but I don't because I have to make a game. But the issue with that is that it never stops. The work never stops. I'll get one game done, and that's what I'm doing. I'm going to get a game done, y'all. We're going to get this done. But we'll get one game done, and without even taking a break or taking a breath, I've already loaded up the next game. So that work never stops. And when I talk to my buddy and he tells me about how he's able to play the game, my I'm starting to get better now with saying, man, that's really healthy that he can do that. And I try my best to find opportunities to give myself mental health breaks also. But let's keep going. So that's what it is with Dwight and No Michael. As Dom mentioned, Dwight is a creativity killer. Every time you have a new idea, he's like, nah, it's not gonna work. Not gonna work because of all of this data. So let's keep going. Now, this is the question that I hope that I finished this slide. I think I did. Guys, I built this. I built this right before I went live, probably an hour before I went live because it was just in my head and I had to get it out. But who should lead? Again, the question is, who should lead? And this is where I think it's going to be fun just comparing the traits real quick. So let's go for it. You have Dwight, the OCPD side, workaholic, no breaks, no vacations, all gas, no breaks, right? Extremely structured and dedicated. So a company's going to love this person. The company is going to love this individual because they're going to work extremely hard. They're going to skip their vacations. They're going to call off if they do wind up with a day off, they'll come in on their day off still to answer questions and get things resolved. You have somebody who's focused on the results from law and order. So it's a law and order approach. You follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules, you get the consequences. And that, again, companies will love that. The issues come here though, because he's going to set that bar too high. That you can't maintain that way of thinking and way of life for too long in a healthy way. I don't know how anybody could do it. If you've been able to do it, kudos to you. But that just seems like it will burn you out consistently. And then your attitude and energy towards the work you do is going to go right down, it's going to go right down the drain. So he sets the bar too high, not only for himself, but then also for the people who work for him. Because nobody wants to work for somebody who has this unfair, unrealistic, and undefined expectation of them. That's not a healthy work environment. Next, let's go over to Michael, our ADHD side, the loosey-goosey, fun, just all over the place guy, impulsive. Let's see, what would it be like for him to lead? Oh, look at it. You see, I thought I had another one over here, but fails to motivate. That was the other thing is with OCPD, we have so much structure that we don't really need a lot of motivation. Ooh, that was good. Hold on. With the OCPD, we have so much structure that we don't really need the motivation. And my dog is over there snoring. But when you have this thought process and you have that disconnect where you don't understand how everybody else is thinking about stuff and what motivates other people, you have a hard time getting people motivated. You don't know what to do. And I remember in the episode, Dwight had Shroot Bucks, and he's like, yeah, this Shroot Buck is worth this real dollar amount, and everybody, if you do one good thing, you get a Shroot Buck. And everybody just looked at him with crickets and said, nobody cares about Shroot Bucks. Whereas Michael, the way Michael motivated was a little bit differently because he would do things like pizza parties or just having parties randomly, the Dundies, different things that they probably didn't care about, but it still motivated them in a weird way. It was a subconscious motivation. I think it's really interesting to see that difference. Haha, why do you think I hired you? See what I'm talking about? I'm telling you, Dom is my guy because he keeps it real. And I've had real conversations with him about my work ethic, all of this stuff. But I think he saw me reach out to him. I reached out on a Saturday. It was a day off. And I wanted to make sure I secured a career. And I reached out after watching Pursuit of Happiness, found his job posting, reached out to him, sent him a Slack message. Oh, I went through the recruiter and all of that stuff. But I literally went into detail about the job posting in every single category that I met or didn't meet, as well as if it was experienced professionally or personally. It was a lot. And we were able to work together for a long time. We balanced. We had a good mesh. So when I talk about this stuff, I think this is really important when we talk about leadership because it is really hard for somebody like OCPD to lead a team and lead a team successfully. Self-motivated people are what you want on a team. Absolutely. Absolutely. Actually, no, I'm gonna give you the other one. Self-motivated people are what you want on a team. Absolutely. And with Michael, I'm going back to Michael just so I can make sure I wrap this one up. He's very loose and hands off. And this kind of how Don was. Don was very, he didn't micromanage you. He let you do what you needed to do. We had the right people in place, project manager and everything to make sure everything was in line. But what it showed was trust. Dwight's type of leadership, which is what we suffer from, is a failure to delegate, does not show trust. It doesn't show trust in your employees, trust in your process. It just does not show trust. So that is not conducive to a healthy work environment or a sustainable work environment where people will want to stay there with you. One thing that I saw Michael do, and he had his moments, but for the most part, Michael had trust in his folks. He had trust. You seen it when there was the Dunder Mifflin commercial. He empowered. We getting some good words today. He empowered Pam to be an artist. When she drew her painting, he came to her show to look at her painting on display, propped it up, gave her compliments, and then praised it and allowed her to bring it to the office to put it on display. This is how you show trust in your people. This is how you empower your people. So Michael does not have to be that leader that Dwight is. He actually gets better benefits being the way he is. Let's keep going. Focuses on connection over respect. This is all the same thing. He wants to build that personal connection with his people. It's people over processes. It's people over position. Let's connect with you so I can keep you motivated. Because it was less work for him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's work for him. My ADHD, I completely blanked on the last thing I said. I had to go back in my brain and say, what was that in context to? What did I say? And we were talking about the art show. So uses contagious energy to motivate others. Everybody cannot motivate. I don't think everybody has the ability to motivate. Some people want to, some people think they can, but I think you have to have a certain type of energy to get people motivated. And whatever the energy was that Michael had, it worked. He had one of the top performing branches all the time. Like he knew what he was doing. It worked. Last thing, he sets the bar low. Now this is kind of controversial, but Michael set the bar low for himself. He would come in a lot of days and be asleep or burn his foot. It was just so unserious. But it was also a low bar for his employees. Think about how Andy was able to work there. Was it Andy or Ryan was able to work there? It didn't make a single sale, and he still gave Ryan the respect and connected with him as an individual. Ryan winds up getting promoted and all of this stuff, but the bar was low. He still kept him. He didn't want them to fire Ryan because he saw the person. Even with Pam, when he started his own paper company, Pam wanted to try something different and become a salesperson. And he set the bar low where he had people who were brand new in the role doing it. He gave them that opportunity. Trust motivates. It absolutely does. So that is the difference with the who should lead. These are the things that you need to consider. And I'll tell you what my answer is right now. For me, I'm trying to think of how to put it best, but I had to find harmony. There had to be harmony with my ADHD, so with Michael, and there had to be that harmony had to take place with Dwight, my OCPD. But what did the harmony look like? Who was the lead? How did things get done? How did we stay on task? Let me show you. Dwight, my OCPD side, I had to lean into my strengths and understand the weaknesses of both sides. But Dwight was able to learn how to optimize. What? Optimize. Dwight was able to learn how to optimize Michael instead of taking over. How do you optimize a person? Well, to me, I think it's really just holding somebody accountable. Holding somebody accountable, keeping them motivated, pushing them, whatever the case might be, you can optimize a person to me, and you can optimize their traits. So my OCPD side, I use that to optimize my ADHD side So when I have ideas, instead of me trying to keep that in my brain on the Michael side, all I have to do is say, hey, Dwight, write this down. Simple as that. I don't have to keep all this stuff. I don't have to think I have to jump from one thing to the next. I have a backlog of ideas. I have an entire document called Just in Case I Get Laid Off. And I've had that document for 2 years now. And it's a step-by-step plan that I built so that I can ease the stress of what that experience would be like for both parties. But I use the OCPD's long-term planning to do that so that the ADHD side did not do any drastic things in that moment. I know we're throwing a lot of letters around, but hopefully you guys are sticking with me. So let's keep going. What else is that harmony like? We let Michael lead. We let Michael lead. Why would you let Michael lead? Well, this is the thing about Michael. Michael has a thing with people. You see it even in the show, The Office. He has a thing with people. He loves people. He wants the best for people. And I think leadership, proper, sustainable leadership, I think it has to be people oriented. I do. And especially if you're talking about inside of our brains or inside of our office, it has to be people oriented, because otherwise you wind up living a life, you work a job, you go to work every single day, you burn out, and then you die. What was the purpose in that? So we gotta let Mike lead. But then you say, what about Dwight? How's Dwight going to deal with this? Because Dwight doesn't necessarily need to be the leader. And this is where I think my OCPD is a little bit different, or my understanding of it is a little bit different from what I know the books tell. I don't think Dwight wants to lead as much as he wants to feel valued. He wants to understand that he has a purpose. He wants to understand that his voice is heard and that you trust his data and you trust his decision making. Because Dwight, as I mentioned, has indecisiveness. He has imposter syndrome. So he needs to know where his role is, and you need to help him by building it up. So what you do when you're a Michael is you put your Dwight in a place where Dwight can thrive, where Dwight can make the changes that need to be made or enforce whatever needs to be enforced. So that is where I found that balance. My OCPD, I use it for planning, for optimizing my life. Instead of me having everything just all over the place or trying to remember everything in my head, I invested in an Amazon Alexa so I could talk to my son anytime I need to, but also I can tell it to remind me about meetings. I hooked it up to my Google Calendar, which I'd never done. I use my Google Calendar now. I set up meetings on my Google Calendar so that I know when I need to block time off. I use Jira. You guys know I'm a strong advocate for a tool, and my tool is Jira, and I've been using it for years, and it's worked for me. I hold myself accountable. I hold the ADHD side accountable by rewarding it. I say, cool, I know you want to work on this, but how about you reward yourself and you wait to work on this until you get this thing done? Or you put 10% of your time into this, and the other 90% has to be dedicated to the other thing you committed to. I use Dwight to enforce everything that needs to be enforced to help Michael have an optimized life and an optimized experience. Keep going. Dwight congratulates Michael on small successes. And this is vice versa. But we've done so much. I know myself, I've done so much beating up on the Michael side of myself that, as Dom mentioned, I started the Dwight version of me started to stifle and kill all of my creativity. And I started to doubt any idea I had, because I said, well, every time I start an idea, I don't finish it. Or what makes this idea different than another idea that's out there? That was the OCPD side. That was Dwight. He was stopping that creativity. He was limiting me. So now, instead of limiting me or tearing me down or holding that notebook and wagging the finger, Dwight can come and say, hey, I know that you have a hard time staying focused, but you actually did an amazing job, Michael, with staying on task and getting half of the work that you got done complete. Yeah, my wife told me my words are cut off on the screen, and I'm aware of that. But I think it's more valuable to see my face, and I'm reading everything out, so it's fine. Thank you though. Thanks for letting me know. In psychology, Dwight is called executive function, right? And Michael is what, the executive dysfunction. Is that side? Because now we're getting technical. I'm not the technical guy. I normally don't throw out the terms because I don't want to throw things off and make people confused. But Dom knows what he's talking about. And yeah, so we congratulate this side. We congratulate our side that on Dwight needs to congratulate Michael on the small successes to build that confidence and make sure that creativity is not killed. Let's keep going. Dwight learns to loosen himself up a little bit. This was something that I was so serious all the time. I was so stressed and anxious. And I remember I had a conversation with Dom one day about job security. And when I had that conversation with Dom, he told me, he said, job security is not real. And when he said that, I never forget conversations. When he told me that, it changed my whole perspective on what I could control and what was out of my control. And that was part of what made me start loosening up. Oh yeah, you should show her this and see what she thinks, because I would love to know what her opinion is about this combination. But it definitely what it definitely did was it changed me in a way where I stopped looking at things as if everything was in my control, and it forced me to loosen up a little bit. So when I found out I had OCPD, I started loosening up a lot more because I realized that I was not thinking in a way that was healthy. I wasn't. So I started playing more with my son, just having more time, made sure I dedicated time to spend with my family, with my wife. I made sure that I was not always project to project, that I did go. And if we went to a hotel, I was intentional about spending time with them instead of just thinking about work or whatever it might be. I started to force myself to loosen up. Bro, I can tell you now. Okay, let me know now. And that is what Dwight has to do. How do you loosen up though? This is the thing. Anybody can say loosen up, but how do we shatter that glass? And I'll tell you, this is what I would recommend. Start making intentional typos. This is the craziest thing. I know people are looking like this is what? You will be surprised how quickly we can catch typos and how quick we are to automatically fix our typos. I'm talking about OCPD right now, not the ADHD side. But the OCPD, we are so detail oriented. We want to fix every typo. We want everything to be perfect and optimized. Start forcing yourself to make typos every once in a while. And that is such a small thing that I think that's enough challenge for you to get started. It seems like it's super easy, but it's not. I'm telling you, you don't want people to perceive you as being an idiot or uneducated. You want to be perceived as serious or perfect, whatever it might be. Try it. I'm telling you, try it out. And then the second part is start seeing other people's errors. You can record them if you want, take pictures or whatever, but keep it for yourself and do not say anything about it. Woo! I'm speaking voodoo right now. This is something I had to start doing because I was the person who always had to correct everything and everybody. If I saw an error, I had to let somebody know. I remember when I first started working at the company I'm at, and they sent out a PowerPoint. They sent the PowerPoint out to all of the interns, and I saw that there was an error in the PowerPoint. And in the type of person I am, I couldn't just let it slide. I had to let them know that I found the error. So I emailed them and let them know. Why? What was I going to get out of that? What was I expecting? A pat on the back, a raise, a promotion, what was it? I don't know. I don't think it was anything that I was really aware of. I just had to let them know. If you walk past a crooked picture in the hallway at somebody else's company, can you walk past it without feeling the need to tell them that they need to fix it? Or without it just irking you so much that you go and try to fix it yourself? That's why I'm saying these are challenges they seem so small, but take it from somebody who has OCPD and ADHD. The more you do these things, the easier it's going to be for you to do those bigger things to help you loosen up. All right? Keep going. Look up. Oh yeah, you told me about that. And we had a conversation. I have to look that up again. But this part, because it was the isolated things and how to, yeah. This is exactly it. Oh yeah, this is awesome. This is exactly in that line of thinking. Dwight does consistent check-ins to keep Michael focused. This just goes back to the optimizing and enforcing structure for Michael. Keep checking in on Michael to make sure things are on track. Just don't overwhelm him. Don't make them feel bad. Keep them motivated, but give them that freedom. It's a balance. You have to strike the balance. And I think you guys get to see me do this when I do my Sunday reviews. I have the review where I go over all the work I did, talk about the things that were finished. Every single time I got something done, I patted myself on the back. But then I do a retro where I look at all of the work I got done. I mean, I look at the week and I say, what could I have done better? What can I give myself credit for? And what action items can I try to do going forward? So that is, yeah, oh yeah, I'm doing it right now. Ah, look at that. Got to give myself a pat for that. I love it. And happy Father's Day to you if we don't talk before tomorrow. But yeah, you have to do these constant check-ins because otherwise, Michael won't feel the need to stay structured. It's holding yourself accountable. You can use the white to hold Michael accountable. Keep going. Michael learns that motivation is temporary and easily swayable. Michael needs to understand that motivation to jump to one project is going to be temporary. He can't keep jumping from project to project to project. And this is where I think the white comes in and says, Michael, you have an idea. Before you do anything related to that idea, write information about as much information as you can about the idea and store it. Just put it away and tell yourself next week, if you have time, you'll take a look at it. That helped me so much. I use Confluence, which is one of Jira's Atlassian's tools. And I have so many ideas where I was so passionate. Thank you. I was so passionate about the ideas. I would wake up in the morning, get in the shower, and ideas just start flowing. And I go and tell my wife, I got a new idea. And she got to the point where she stopped taking me serious after a certain point. But I just started having so many ideas that I would jump around. But what I started doing was taking those ideas, writing them out, and I don't do anything with the idea. You will be surprised how many ideas I have not acted on that I thought in the moment were these amazing ideas. And this is not to say you'll never act on them because you don't want to have that fear that you'll never act on them if you put it to the side. But this is to say that your emotional state in that moment, that excitement, that motivation cannot be trusted enough for you to leave one thing, abandon one thing, and move over to the next. Glass shatter. It can't, because that is false. It's false. It's making you feel that way in the moment, but it won't last. You'll get that same feeling for the next thing. It's just like a relationship. Every single time you see somebody that you're attracted to, are you going to instantly leave the relationship you're in to go pursue that next person? I would hope not. But something like that, that is how dangerous that is the same cycle that you wind up developing with projects. You get into all this stuff and you instantly just drop it and move on. So you don't leave just over that temporary thing that you see, that thing that you're seeing right now, because oh man, I'm talking too much, but the law of diminishing returns. That's what I instantly think of. Things always seem great in the moment or better or the grass is greener, and then you get in it and reality hits and you start finding things that you didn't think about with your project, things that you don't like. And you start to get in that cycle of, oh, this is getting repetitive, this is getting lengthy. And then you have those confidence issues. I never finished projects. What's different about this? You don't want that to happen. So that is why I recommend Michael learn that motivation is temporary and is easily swayable. A book I recommend is Seth Godin's The Dip. That book was really helpful. And then another one was Shipping Creative Projects. That's by the same person. But these are books that I listen to that help me get over a lot of stuff. And I'm talking too much, y'all. This is my ADHD. I'm in too far, in way too much detail. Let's keep going. Dwight keeps track of Michael's ideas to reduce project pivots. Look, I knocked out 2 in 1. Love it. Dwight understands the importance of having a structured Dwight to work with. Now, this is where you start to appreciate your Dwight and your Michael. And this is so important because once you understand that although there might be issues that come with having these disorders, you actually have a lot of superpowers. Ooh-wee. You have a lot of superpowers that you can use, you can utilize, as long as you learn how to use them. And it's any superpower. Think about Spider-Man 1. When Spider-Man got bit by the spider, he didn't instantly just get to beating up supervillains and swinging across the city with ease. He hit his face on the wall first. The struggles that you might be dealing with right now with trying to deal with having your ADHD or OCPD, it might just be you hitting your face on the wall. But guess what? When you learn to really utilize it and appreciate it, you go from having your face hit on a wall as Spider-Man with new powers to being able to take out the Green Goblin. And that is where I think it gets really fun. That is the moment that I'm at right now. I know myself so much that I'm actually confident that I can highlight the strengths of my OCPD and ADHD on a job resume or to sell to a client and get the client or get the sale or get the job. I am. Because the traits that I have, there are so many positives that the ordinary person might not have. We just have to spend more time reeling it in or dealing with our thoughts. But it's so many potential positives, especially if you learn how to use the organization skills of the OCPD without over organizing yourself. And then the ability to figure crap out of the ADHD, you can solve just about anything. Oh man, I know that was a deep one. I'm not gonna say I don't know. It depends on your confidence level and all of that stuff. But me personally, I have this crazy amount of confidence that every single time I run into a bug in my game, I know it'll get resolved somehow, or even at work. If I run into something I don't know how to do, I have this new confidence where I say my strength is in me being a problem solver, outside of the box problem solver. So as long as I can get to the point where I can start replicating the issue, I'm sure I can get to the point where I can start working on the fix or the solution for said issue. And we're gonna keep going real quick. Or that who's got to wear sunglasses all the time. Cyclops. My son, that's one of my son's favorite superheroes. But Cyclops, yeah, as Dom said, or you become the dude who's got to wear the glasses all the time. Sunglasses dude who shoots the energy out of his eyes. Cyclops, that's true. Because Cyclops, if he doesn't have his glasses on, he's all over the place. He's dangerous. But when he puts those glasses on and can focus, now he knows when to take them off. That's what it is. It's just like that. I just know it's been a stigma. It's such a stigma associated with them. And I think there is a lack of deep understanding of what's really going on. So I have really spent a lot of time understanding myself, looking at my practice, looking at my patterns and different things like that. And I hope that this information helps you. If you do come across this, I hope it helps you. Because it seems like every single time I talk about OCPD, I get another person who's like, holy crap, I've been dealing with that and never knew, which is crazy. So let's keep going. You're welcome. Michael and Dwight both understand that there will be struggles along the way. Yes. And this is the thing that I want to make sure is understood most. With OCPD, we always use the word perfection. And I don't like that word perfection alone. I always bring it back to hyper efficiency. How can we get everything the most optimized, get everything the most efficient? That means that we do not want to have anything in our way. We don't want to have any road bumps. Anything that will make it difficult for us to get to the destination seems as if it is the end of the world. And I understand that. I'm being 100% transparent with you guys. I know this because I dealt with it. But life is a highway. You got to ride it all night long, right? Highways have potholes. Oh, I didn't just do it. I didn't just do it. Yeah. I got you down. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that in a second because that's a really good one. Let me explain. Hold on. Life is a highway. You gotta ride it. But highways have potholes. OCPD, to me, seems like we are living in delusion because we don't understand what is realistic. and we don't have enough energy to create a detailed plan of what realistic really is, which is why we struggle with delegation. We always are giving tasks to people and not explaining it in a clear way, or we have these crazy expectations that we want them to exceed. And we do the same issue. I always try to relate this because I don't think it's related enough how closely tied delegation issues with OCPD are to how we manage our own lives and the confidence issues or imposter syndrome that you might deal with. Think about that. We can't delegate to others because we don't even know how to delegate to ourselves. So, with that being said, when I talk about the delusion that we deal with, we have to start breaking that glass. We have to understand that life is going to have struggles. We are going to have potholes inside of our highway that we're riding. But that does not mean that life is not worth living. That does not mean that life is, if it's not perfect, that it's just somehow worth nothing. Because I see that a lot, the worthless feeling that people get with OCPD. And what I need you guys to understand is you don't even understand how much power you really have, honestly. Not even talking about just using the traits, the positive traits of it, but in your story, there is a, I don't want to say epidemic, but I would say there is a lack, an extreme, dangerous lack of information regarding OCPD in the world. And it could be because OCD and OCPD sound so similar, so people only think about OCD. But I think it comes down to the fact of the type of disorder OCPD is, we would never really notice our issues because we think everybody should be thinking like us. And what really is happening is that we can have these decent careers and everything, but we wind up struggling at home. You're struggling in marriage. Your expectations are too high for your spouse. You never feel fulfilled because your expectations for yourself are impossible to reach. You're extremely hard on your kids to the point where you push your kids away because you just have these rules and structures that have to be followed to a T with no room for flexibility. You don't wind up getting the things that you really desire to do because we all have something that we want to do, but the things that you really desire to do in your life for fun, you don't even let that part get to breathe. You don't even let, if you have a Michael doesn't even get to get any oxygen. So with that being the case, I want anybody with OCPD to, first of all, understand that you do have strengths in your strength in your traits, but also your story. If you can share your story in any capacity, you will help somebody. And this is coming from my experience. You can help somebody because people don't know about it. They don't. I learned about it by accident. So I hope that helps somebody. Yeah, Dom, you micromanage. That's it. You micromanage and you do a poor job micromanaging. That's the other thing. Micromanagement in itself is annoying, right? That sucks to get micromanaged. But imagine that you are being micromanaged by SpongeBob SquarePants. Meaning, I'm saying this in a way not to say that we're loosey like all over the place, but I'm saying that to say that we don't really even know what we're asking for. So we're trying to continuously tell somebody to do something, and we gotta keep switching the ingredients and keep doing all of this because we don't even know what we're asking for. Which is why, hold on one second. This is a good plug. This is a good plug. I'm gonna show you guys something real quick. And this is all tied. I'm not even, my OCPD was really trying to be strict on time and everything with this, but this is where I say you gotta loosen up a little bit. It's okay. Because I think this information is much more valuable to you guys. And I want you all to really take this in. So check this out. If you know me, you know I like to run my life as if my life is a business. That is what I like to do. And I have inside of here what I call the expectation manager. This is something, believe it or not, that I've had married couples fill out. I've had people fill out for themselves who have OCPD. And it has helped them so much with understanding what the requirements are in their head and then what the things that are nice to have are. And I give the same analogy every single time about cleaning the kitchen. Somebody with OCPD asks somebody who doesn't have OCPD to clean the kitchen. The person who doesn't have OCPD says cleaning the kitchen. I'll wash the dishes, wipe the stove off, and make sure all of the trash is thrown away. But the person who has OCPD, that person who has OCPD, their definition of must-haves includes washing the dishes, drying the dishes. That feels so weird to say. Mopping the floor, sweeping the floor, dusting off all of the blinds, cleaning out the entire refrigerator, scraping out the entire stove, wiping down the microwave, wiping out the microwave. You have all of these expectations. And what winds up happening is this: the person with OCPD has it all in their head. So even if you were to do 9 out of the 10, because they didn't do a full analysis of what was actually required, they're going to see that as a failure. They're only going to focus on what was not done. So that is really dangerous when it comes down to people in marriages. And I've seen this firsthand. Like I hope you guys are understanding what I'm saying. This is something that people are actually dealing with in real life. Somebody would say, "Can you please hang my clothes up?" Some of the husbands, let's say, has OCPD. "Babe, I love when you wash my clothes. Can you please hang my clothes up in a certain way? Because it's optimized this way for me. If I go and flow, it'll make it easy for me to do everything else I need to do." But the wife might not be hearing it or might not understand how serious of an issue it is. And then you start having resentment in the relationship. And I'm getting deep. We can talk about all this another day, but just make sure if you guys want to know more about this form, you can go and get that form on theocpdcoach.com/resources. It is free. You can download it. You can use it. Yeah, there is no good way to micromanage. I agree. So let's keep going. I'm wrapping this up, y'all. I'm wrapping it up. Next thing, allow Michael's impulsivity to make Dwight publish and release. Now, this is where you get to start flipping some of the things that were issues. You get to start making them positive. And this is really fun because that analysis paralysis of Dwight is going to hold projects at a standstill. When it's time to ship it, nope. Because I didn't do my MVPs and my nice to haves in a way that really is still valid. And now there are all of these MVPs that I need to add on. Whew. Hold on. Yeah, coach, you're doing an amazing job. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. And what I had to do, guys, I'm gonna tell you this. I had to create myself a document called a positive feedback log because I never received compliments. I never believed anybody's compliment when they gave it to me, ever. It could be a performance review. It could be from family. It could be from anybody. I didn't believe it. I thought people were just blowing smoke. So I started keeping a document where I kept track of every single positive comment that people made. And that is also on the site. I'll tell you that. That's also on the site. Same place. It's called Positive Feedback Log. But no, think about this. If Dwight will keep pushing the goalposts to try to get to perfection, and perfection is unattainable. So this is where you get to use Michael's impulsivity to say, okay, one day randomly, we'll do everything we can to build up, and randomly I'm just gonna hit the button. One day I just need to hit the button. One day I'm spending all of this time cleaning up because I'm having executive dysfunction and don't have the energy to do this thing. So maybe I'll just push it. Maybe what happens if I release it? What is the worst that really happens, right? With the OCPD, Dwight is going to put way too much weight into everything. Way too much weight. If we don't push this at the exact right time, the exact right day, the exact right way, with the exact right text, this thing is going to flop. You're going to lose your house. You're going to want to just do all these crazy things, and all of your life is going to be meaningless. You'll be looked at as a failure. Glass shatter. That's not the case. Typically, that's not the case. I do have experience releasing projects. I've released books, even though they didn't do crazy numbers because I didn't market myself. I've released games which were actually done. They actually did really well rated. They brought in enough money to get me by. And I've released stuff for big companies, NCAA, Barry Sanders, NFL. I've done some stuff for Marvel. And every single time we released it, every single time, there's not a single day that we released something and I told myself that thing was perfect. Not one. And I'm talking about we had millions of dollars put behind certain stuff. We've had teams working on it for an extremely long time. Not a single time did I think it was ready. But I'll tell you this, the numbers always prove that the thing was ready. It was ready. And this is where you start. I have a whole nother conversation, but when I talk about somebody with OCPD, our 100% is somebody else's 120%. So to operate in a healthy way, you have to start pulling back your energy to an 80%. And then you'll have much healthier results. Pull your expectations back 80%. Instead of expecting everything, expect 80%. Be happy, count that as a win. We want everything to be A plus, A plus plus. And you can get by with the B minus sometimes. You can. I know that probably hurt somebody, but you can. But last thing, Dwight and Michael gain empathy for each other. It was good enough. There it is, good enough. Good enough. That's such a powerful statement. Dwight and Michael gain empathy for each other and appreciate the strengths in each other. That is the biggest thing. We want to understand how we can love ourselves. And Dwight and Michael, they can coexist in harmony. It just takes a little bit of effort. We have to reevaluate our priorities, reevaluate our processes, and we also have to realign our thinking. And this is where I always love to tell you guys about progress. My goal as the OCPD coach is to help you build a healthier relationship with progress. That's for people who have OCPD and ADHD, because sometimes we overwork and we just don't think we're making enough progress. Or even in our family lives, we think if we spend time with our family, that's a waste of our time. Or you might not get enough done to yourself. So I always love to preach to you guys that progress is important. And that is why, let me switch this real quick. That is why I love to keep this drawing that my son made for me right here. This drawing, zoom you in a little bit. Not too much right there. There it is. My son drew me this mountain. And first of all, it's my favorite color, blue. He knows my favorite color. And it's my favorite type of mountain. It is a snow-capped mountain because I love snow-capped mountains. I just love the scenery. I always drew them when I was a kid, just something about it. But I always use the analogy of a person, yourself, us, being on that mountain. A lot of times we are climbing a mountain with a blindfold on. We don't know how far we have to go up because we can't see. But what also sucks is that we don't know how far we've come because we can't see. And we wind up giving up prematurely or just making the process a lot harder because we're not taking a look back so that we can enjoy it. So I always love to use Jira. I'm not sponsored or anything, but this is something I use every single day because with my Jira setup, I'm able to take the blindfold off from where I'm at and look down that mountain. I'm able to see how far I got. Let me show you guys. And the other thing you can do when you have that mountain and you take that blindfold off is you can look up and see how far left you have to go. It can be motivating. So check this out. This sprint, I told you guys I was going goblin mode. I said I had so much work I had to do. I didn't know. I knew I overcommitted. And I had no idea how any of this stuff was going to get done or all of it was going to get done, but I had faith in my orders to get it done. Well, when you look at this right now, first of all, oh, you're not looking at my face. Hold on. I'm doing my sentimental voice and you guys can't even see anything. My Hyperfocus stream, look at this. I'm moving this over here. Anytime I move a ticket, I give myself this. That's my pat on the back. But this is me on my mountain right now. This is me. I'm looking. I'm on a mountain. I'm in the middle of it. Well, I'm towards the top because tomorrow is the last day of my sprint. But look at this. I see what I have to do. Tomorrow, I'm benchmarking my stats. How are we doing on social media? Are we growing on YouTube? Are we growing in these different areas? I brought somebody on, by the way. I hired somebody, which is amazing. And they're editing my videos now. But look, I have 2 tasks left. And I do have more time, so I will get these 2 tasks as close to done really soon. But when you look over here at this done column, the way I celebrate, I'm showing you right now. This is how I like to celebrate myself when I do stuff like this. Watch this.
Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money. Money, money.
Ching, ching, blink. Okay, I'm not gonna sing the whole song. But that's what I'm able to do right now because, y'all, I'm at the peak. I'm at the peak of my mountain right now. And I can see it. So even though I've been grinding so hard and working so hard this week, go to work full time, work my butt off, come on, well, at home, work my butt off on my game, still connecting with people, still spending time with my family, doing everything I need to do. Because I have that visibility on the mountain, I never burn myself out completely where I just say, man, when is this going to end? So it's imperative, guys. You want to always keep tabs on your mountain. That being said, this part of the stream is coming to a close. And the part of the stream that you guys really wanted to do is getting ready to start. So let me just go ahead and do this real quick for the YouTube side of it. Guys, I want you to know that having ADHD and OCPD, although it might be difficult for you, it is something that you can live with and you can learn to manage. The thing about OCPD is that it does not go away. There is no fix for it. There is no medication that clears OCPD up. There have been no scientific breakthroughs that fixes OCPD. There is nothing that really just gets rid of the OCPD. So with that being said, you have to learn how to manage it. The best way to manage it is by understanding what all of the strengths are, understanding where those weaknesses are, and doing your best to calm it down, because the OCPD is a stressful beast. It's a stressful animal. You just need to tame it. Rub it, give it love, make it feel appreciated, make it feel understood, make it feel accepted. Get it around other folks who might have similar things. Make it be calm and peaceful to you, because it is you. I am Dwight and Michael. They're both me. They're both part of me. They're not going anywhere. So the best thing you can do for the rest of your life is learn how to use them, but also use yourself as a story. Help other folks. Be mindful of other folks. I know I'm getting into my teaching era, but I love teaching. I really love helping folks. I love giving insight into the world, information to the world that's positive, that's helpful. And I think that with me doing my channel the way I've done it, because I've done a complete rebrand, I think we're on track right now. I do. I think we're hitting on all of the right cylinders. Guys, I'm giving myself some more praise because guess who got into their stream early?
Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
I got into my stream early. I've been trying. I hope my quality is better. I tried to upgrade my quality of my bit rate, all of that stuff. Dom, I appreciate you. Yes, I thank you for even popping in and keeping me company, asking some great questions. This was a great part of the stream. And I'm hoping, I don't want to keep making it this long going forward, because this is what, almost 2 hours. But I think, and I'm going to have my video editor go and clip this up, make it into a separate video. I just want to make sure that this information is out there, because there are people who live with both of these disorders and are still able to find peace, happiness, love, meaning in life. It's possible. It's not impossible. I know the first thing I did when I found out I had my mental health disorder was I talked to just about everybody that I came in contact with that I knew I probably impacted because of my disorder. That was old coworkers that I might have dealt with, people I tried to delegate to, and I let them know about the disorders. I tried to just understand how it impacted them. And this is a time where I'm able to show you guys how I'm using my disorders to put it out into the world and help other folks. But yeah, man, that being said, let me do this. I'm putting on a 5-minute break. Oh, and let me cap the other video off too. If you are watching the OCPD coach for the first time, I help you build a healthy relationship with progress. And I want you to keep fighting for your life. Peace. So that's the ending for the other video I just did. But now we get into the good stuff, y'all. We get into my favorite part. We getting to work. Let's go. Cammy, that's my video editor. She's here. That's a whole lot of stuff. You can chunk it up. So basically that's a nice 2-hour video, I think, almost 2 hours. So you might want to break it up into a series. You might want to just play around with it and see what you can do, because I honestly think that's probably a good 5 or 6 videos worth of content. And you could break it up by section or do part 1, part 2, part 3, whatever it might be. So play around with it. This is the other thing I talk about with delegation. I'm trying to get better with this. So I'm being less micromanaging, less on your head. You got to get everything perfect. I don't think that's healthy. Instead, I'm giving freedom. I'm trying to be empowering and say, you own this area. I trust you. I put you here for a reason. So I trust you. So do what you do and we'll work it out. We'll work everything else out. All right. So, man, that was fun. That was a whole lot of fun, guys. I really had fun with that. I'm giving myself 3 more minutes and then we're going to get to work. We're going to get to work. Oh, I just talked for so long. I'm happy right now. Somebody just sent me something for my game. Hey, now you're micromanaging. Am I? How's that micromanaging? I didn't think that was micromanaging. I thought that was giving ideas. I look at that as different. I said do whatever. I just gave ideas because otherwise it might be a little confusing. If somebody just says, here, do something with it. But all right, I'm gonna take that feedback. I'll take that. I'll work on it. Let me see. I just got something done for my game, guys. Oh, wee. This is amazing. I have an animator who's working on the wrestling stuff for my video game, and it is looking amazing, y'all. Goodness. By the way, if you are here, let me tell you this real quick. I'm trying to get used to using this thing. Why not ask for ideas? That's a good one. I didn't think about that. All right, I'm learning. Look, Don was my director for years, so I have to learn. He's gonna teach me. Look at that, RGSS, Retro Game Store Simulator, is on Steam for wishlisting right now, guys. Please do me a favor, wishlist it. I'm taking y'all back to the 1980s, even though I'm from the 1990s. We're gonna see what we can do. Let's move on to our stream slate for this week. So tomorrow we will be live again at 1:15 p.m. Eastern time. And I have another 2 hours I think I'll be streaming today. See how far we get. But tomorrow we're planning out our week. We are going into our marketing planning sprint, baby. Let's go. Woo woo. I wish I had another Steam Deck so I could play sounds. Can't wait. I can't wait either. That's going to be so much fun. And then on Thursday, every single Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern time, we review the week. So we go and see how are we doing. Are we getting tasks done? Are we make sure everything is on track? When I got certified as a product owner, because I am a certified product owner, by the way, Scrum product owner, I was told to say, if they ask, is everything on track? Always say yes. The question is just, what do we need to get rid of? So I think that's just a great mindset to have, especially with the situations I deal with. Just knowing, hey, we have to get it out by this date and we can't have everything. We have to drop some stuff. So that'd be a lot of fun. But other than that, let me cut the music up a little bit so you guys hear the music more than my breathing. Turn that to 30. Yeah. There it is. All right. If you guys have any questions too, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I think do I put the meta glasses on? I'll let you guys decide. Do we do meta glasses so I can hear my music? Or do I do the headphones? Which ones do we do? water. Okay. Who's back? What music are we listening to? Hey Alexa, cut fan noise on.
Welcome back to Fan Noise. There are more relaxing sounds available. Want to hear more?
No. I'm not talking. I need to make an alternate where you guys can see my face a little bit, but not too much in the screen. All right, so let's do it. It's a boombox. This is me. I'm getting sidetracked. I'm working on something that's not what I'm supposed to be working on right now. Reel it in. Okay, what if I just do one thing? That's how it always starts. But no, I'm seriously just gonna do one thing. I'll just put a box here. All right, Don. Appreciate you hopping in, man. Thank you. I'll see you. I hope the stream was helpful. Okay. So that's the boom box. Oh, no. Thank you for that's what's up. Thank you. Thank you. It makes me think it was definitely worth it. So I appreciate that. Oh. That music is blaring. Everybody wants to. All right, pull it down a little bit. It's huge. So I have to fix my blueprint because I went in and made changes when I broke it. This right here. Crap. I changed it and forgot what I did. Why did I? What did I do? Oh, I think it was just this. But what was the blend weight? Yeah, I don't remember. I'll fix that later. Get too sidetracked. It's all right. Yeah, I do that. Okay. Okay, that needs to be fixed. Let's do the store. Let's do the units. That's what we have to do right now. Guys, I'm having the hardest time with my playlist. My playlist is just not hitting. I need to find my other playlist I had. My brain is crashing. All right, let's listen to Heart. See if Heart helps. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Focus, 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 focus. Move this out my way. See, I could probably anchor this thing down so I could talk like that. I keep muting myself by mistake. Okay. I'll go crazy on you. Crazy on you. Let me go crazy, crazy on you. I'll go crazy on you. Crazy on you. You go crazy, crazy. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just putting stuff in folders so that I can find what I'm looking for more easily. So which one is this? Okay, so this is what I'm looking to do. I need to build shop zones for all of the shops. All right, quick break, quick 5-minute break. Let me get up and stretch. Good back crack. For context, what I'm working on right now, I have to put collision boxes inside of all of the different units in the mall. That way, the game knows where the customers are, if they're inside of a specific unit or if they're just out in the open, I guess. But try to understand. If you wonder why I cut the mic off, my wife, she's my meter. She tells me when I'm too loud and I was singing too loud. It wouldn't be so bad if y'all could hear the music I'm playing. I just would get a copyright. So I have to play it in my headphones and play other music for you guys. All right, what else do we have to? I need to start getting, I have 3 minutes left for my break. And I don't want to close this out. So I keep finishing this part. But I do have some assets that were finished up that I could probably start bringing over. Guys, I think this was an amazing stream. I think the streams are getting better and better each time. We give them more value in them, giving a lot more value. Oh, by the way, let me show you guys something. Hold on. Have y'all seen the rebrand? Check your boy out. Oh, we got a new subscriber. Nice. But check it out. We are live. I have now added Amazon affiliate links. If you want to get your setup like mine, with the lighting and the Stream Deck, Echo, put it all in there. So that's a great way. If you guys want to go ahead and purchase any of these products, it helps me out. I get a little bit of a kickback from it because I'm not a monetized YouTube channel yet. Oh, I don't know why I clicked that. I just wanted to show you guys my header. I don't like how the header text on here, that thin text, does not look good. Somebody swap that out. Made a new avatar, all of it. It's looking good, y'all. All right. So I had some assets made. I have the meshes in another project, but I don't have enough time right now to pull them over. Do I? I'm in a rhythm. I don't want to mess it up. While you are here, let me remind you guys that I do go live tomorrow at 1:15 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be planning our week out. We are going into our marketing planning week. This is a great week to get a lot of stuff done. So stop by. Thursday, every single Thursday, I go live 4 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to review our week, see what we got done, what we got finished, what we didn't. Great opportunity to learn how I deal with stuff in the middle of the week. And then Saturday, like this Saturday, every single Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, I go live and we get work done. So I stream myself working. Today I stream myself talking and working. So 2 birds, 1 stone. You know how it goes. All right, it's the countdown. Look, I'm in my hyperfocus mode, so I'm actually itching to work. I just want to work right now. Mike going back on mute. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll say another 5-minute break. But what I'm doing for this break, I want to go and pull the assets from my other project so I can mess around with them because I need them for my next part of my task anyways. All right, music back on. So this is going to be my last 20 minutes of work. And then after this, I'm wrapping up for the night. And we have a nice stream tomorrow at 1:15 p.m. where we will be planning out our upcoming week. So much fun. So let's get that done. All right. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You think it looks good now? Give it about 2 weeks. I have some new what do you call it? Particles. So you'll see some nice explosions and gas, and then the UI. So all the art is not done. The mall units aren't fleshed out yet. And I don't have sound effects, proper sound effects. So we're gonna see what happens in the next 2 weeks, but I'm really hopeful. I think it's gonna look really, really good when it's done. All right, guys. Gotta wrap up. It is 11:42 in the morning. No, I lied. I gotta wrap up. It's 11:42. I do have to stream tomorrow. I need to go eat dinner, and I got a lot done today. So honestly, as I mentioned, my mountain, I wound up adding stuff in this sprint. So it'll be fun doing the review tomorrow. I have a couple other things I have to do tomorrow, but proud of myself. Things are progressing, and I think the information from today's stream, I think was really, it came out better than I thought it would. It came out longer than I thought it would. Hold on. One time. It came out better than I thought it would. It came out longer than I thought it would.
That's what she said.
All right, I had to get. I was sleepy, but no. In all seriousness, I hope you guys have a great night. If you are coming across the stream later, I hope that you are able to get some insight out of it. If there's more information you want from me, more ADHD or OCPD content, whatever it might be, just let me know. I'm here. That's what my streams are for. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Time. If not, I'll see you Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And if not, then I'll see you guys next Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That being said, y'all have a great day. Keep fighting for your life, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.